Hello, beautiful Libra. This is Mary Ellen coming to you from Moonrise Cottage for your June 2018 Soul Tarot reading. You are seeing the images of your cards for this month. And if you're new, welcome. It's very exciting to have you here. Spirit says to meet you. And for all the returning subscribers and viewers, so wonderful to be with you again. As always, I'm really grateful uh, for what we are creating together. There's some information streaming through from Spirit. So if you're new to the channel, you're seeing the cards. That's a request that my Spirit guides have given me to ask you to just look into the images. They transmit some of the energy that is meant to come through. This month, there's a beautiful continuation from last month. I'm going to pop in and say hello. Hi, everybody. Great to be here, as I said. So we have a very exciting reading. It's been a very intense May for me. We talked a lot about all the changes and releasing fears and all the things that were going forward for all of us. And then, as most of you probably know, Uranus came and stationed into an Earth sign in Taurus, right at the midpoint of the month, I believe. I don't know the exact dates. There was a lot going on. And so, the lightning bolt of change, all of the work that we've all been doing to release our fears, all of that came to bear, Spirit says. And so we're going to see the next step in that journey. And as it's been streaming through to me, we are at a fulcrum point in the year. And things now begin to shift and change to move us into the destiny that we are meant to fulfill in terms of our own growth and shift and change in order to help the pattern of changes coming forward. Spirit saying that it was spoken about, promised, prophesied, if you will, for this year of 2018. I use the beautiful Celtic Wisdom Tarot cards, if you're wondering. And my website is moonrisecottagesoultarot.com. Everything you want to know about me, about the readings I offer, distance healing, medium services, live stream, and sometime in the near future, there's going to be the ability to come and have, Spirit says, a sacred holiday, meaning a retreat, a spiritual retreat designed together between the two of us for you to come to Moonrise Cottage and have perhaps a long weekend and really just go deep and be with yourself and be in contact with the spirit guides that are here with me. There's a lot of information streaming through about that, but I'll snip it off there. We'll get into that a little bit later. So back to the cards. There we are. That is very beautiful to see. I'm going to toggle into the cards for May just to remind you where, Spirit says, where you came from, what you were doing last month. Look at that. The first card off the top, which is always the theme, the Spirit message, the things that Spirit wants to speak about. So when I sit and do my meditation, shuffle the cards, and put the reading down, I always ask my spirit guides, okay, you tell me, what is it you want to talk about this month? What's on the menu? And then the cards come out. So if you look at the middle row, the second card in from the right is actually the first card that comes out. That is the Challenger of Will. It's a major arcana card. And it sits next to the beautiful Queen of Skill. It's about a new life coming, obviously, having your will having been challenged in order to help you relieve yourself from the bondage of your fears. You come into a new life. And the deeper meaning in that card, I'm going to think Spirit's asking me to begin to start talking more deeply about some of the mythology in a few of the cards that we see coming up, because we're going to be talking about them a lot. So the Queen of Skill receives this child swaddled in the blue blankets of change and transformation, who has been found, who went missing and has been found again. That's part of the message, part of the story behind that card. And clearly we see an indication of a new life. And to the left of that, we see the beautiful mouse. That is the adventure of skill. Having everything you need that has been given to you in order to take your soul journey in these moments. And if you look all the way to the right in the center row, that's the outcome card sitting on the outside of the spread. That is the beautiful sword of victory. That is the augury of battle. It is a prophecy, a new beginning. And it is you standing, Spirit's talking about the way in which you stand after winding your way through this reading. And if you haven't looked at the reading for May, please do so. It's important groundwork to understand what's happening in June. So at the end of that reading, there was a notation about being in the moment just before you are able to put your hands, pardon me, upon the sword of victory. A beautiful outcome. And so here we are again in June. Take a look at the spirit card, the theme that comes over the top, given what we were talking about in May. Releasing your fears and coming into a new place, a new life. And here's the very next step, beautiful Libra. Look at that. That's the spirit theme message for this month. It is a new dialogue, the dialogue of skill. And last month it was the adventure of skill and the queen of skill. And, a major arcana card, the challenger of will. So there we are. Those are the types of skills Spirit's been talking about. This is Merlin, dressed in the blue robe of transformation, and his very dear friend Elysian, one of the most famous poets that existed. Merlin lost his way. He had what we would now call a form of PTSD. He was very dissociated from himself after a very long life, a lot of battles, a lot of challenges, a lot of work. He came to a place of internal exhaustion. And he was, as the story goes, he was sort of wandering around, just not really himself, not able to perform his life and his duties, Spirit says. So his good friend heard about this and went out and found him and put his arm around him and said, "Hey, Merlin, let's talk. Let's talk about your skill set. Let's talk about who you are. Let's talk about the moments that brought you here. Why you've been going through this life." And the notion of releasing fears and being found, coming into a new life. There it is, right on top of this reading. This is about the work that needs to be done and the moments, Spirit's saying, of reintegration of the self. So gratifying and so beautiful. So much love for you, Libra, in these moments. And I'm going to toggle back again to May. I want to show you something that was coming through. Actually, you know what? Hang on a second. Look at my camera in the background, the things that I have queued up for you, because there's another notion that's coming through. I thought it was May. Yes, it is in May. Okay, check it out. Look at the center column, vertical column of cards. On the bottom, that's the human walk. Right in the middle, we see the beautiful foundation of art. The art of being a student, studying to become a sacred wisdom holder, a poet, in order to transmit sacred wisdom to the tribe, to the clan, for the people. That's what you were being prepared for in May. And above that, we see the new life coming, the prophecy about that. And on the top, on the spirit realm, the purpose of that in your soul journey is to perfect your energy through the course of a full cycle of a year, turning the spiral of destiny. And look at the card sitting next to the dialogue of skill. That is the card that indicates your human self under the light of the dialogue of skill, within the theme of that discussion. Phenomenal. That is the beautiful, it's a major arcana card, that is the rememberer of lore. This is who you are striving to become. This is your soul journey. And now, after all the discussion last month, And again, there was a lot, so I'm going to try not to go, to sort of keep this short this month. Oh my gosh, here you've arrived. I'm so grateful for this for you. The rememberer of Lord is the sacred bard. This person is in command of all of the sacred knowledge that was passed down in an oral tradition in order to disseminate it from the world of the gods, so to speak. It has come into a central position in this person's life. Male patterned energy, the impetus with which the type of energy that you need to go forward, drive and ambition, sending things out into the world, the vibration. He is a vibratory instrument. And Spirit's been talking, if you've been following along this channel, it's all about the tapestry, the vibration that we've been creating together in order to be able to communicate with each other from great distances. Science has proven that our brains actually are able to do that. All last year, we're talking about all these things. And coming through into the beginning of this year, talking about transformation and evolution and emergence. And here you are. What an amazing journey. Right in the center of your life, of your being, of your walk through the month of June. Here's the first card on the bottom row. That is the beautiful Another Dialogue. And look, Merlin again with the blue robes of transformation. Dialogue of art. The art of being, walking, of the walk, Spirit says, of your spirit life. That is Merlin's sister. So again, the joining, the activation, Spirit says, of yin and yang, male and female. And, Spirit says that just an example, right? Don't get stuck on gender. This is about energy patterns. And I used to say that, I kind of dropped it after a while, but I'm being told, remind people, okay? Yin and yang. Spirit says, just keep that notion in your mind and you'll understand. There's the full moon. We just came through the full moon. I think it was, today's the 31st. I think it was yesterday, the day before. There's been so much going on here. I'm going to tell you a little bit. I've been going through my own reintegration, intense change. Things happening here at Moonrise College and things happening for me internally. Just one of the reasons all the readings came out. And then there was a long pause because I had to go deep. I had to recenter, refocus myself. And I've learned, don't try to do the readings until the energy settles down. So thank you for your patience. So there you are. Again, Spirit's talking about the cycles of the moon and the sacred light. The moon is feminine energy, again, in a sense, in traditional tarot. And it's about the psychic realm, intuition, mystical knowledge, and the pull of the moon and the river of knowledge that comes into you, Libra, as you balance your energy in this yin and yang way. The two halves of yourself, in a sense. Transformation and beautiful passion. The impetus to go forward and the beautiful feminine energy that it takes in order to bring creation into being. It's a lovely notion. And so we see, this first card that came out, reintegration with the self. Okay? And there's the first card on the human walk. It's a very deep conversation that Spirit's having with you this month. A deep dialogue about the art and skill of your existence, of your soul journey, and your desires. Because last month we were talking all about the lover of devotion. So there is a process at work in which you are being rewoven, in a sense, reintegrated with yourself in a very deep way. And certainly you are feeling it. The very next card coming out, of course, is the Renewer of Devotion. It's an astounding card. Take a look at last month. The Renewer of Devotion was the first step on the human realm. And next to it was this notion of going deep into the mystical realm in order to become a student of that energy, of that knowledge. And this month, we see it displayed this way. You've had your conversation. You've come forward as the rememberer of lore, and you continue your reintegration into this place in your being and in your soul travel. And that, of course, brings to you a sacred renewal. This is the renewer of devotion. The renewer of devotion, we see the sacred cauldron of healing. And the triple deities, those are elder flowers. And we see it suspended deep out into the universe. It's a beautiful scene. So, if you have a chance this month, just try to spend some time in the moonlight. Try to spend some time looking at the stars and imagine yourself, your soul, in this place. This is a real artifact if you're new and you don't know. This is the Gundestrup Cauldron. I believe it's in a museum in Denmark. You can look it up on the internet. It was found in a bog. It's believed that it was made by the Celtic peoples or the Druids of the time who were in that region. And there are a lot of the illustrations that are carved into this cauldron actually are displayed on these cards. That's one of the things I love about these cards. So, the notion of going into the sacred cauldron of renewal, it's about bringing yourself into the awareness, the ability, if you will, in order to have, let's see. So Spirit's saying a couple things. The ability to receive healing. So there's a lot going on with Chiron. Uranus has stationed. And at the end of the month, Mars is going in retrograde. So, and there's a lot of really intense energy. And there's a Jupiter-Neptune trine all month. And I think for you, Libra, Jupiter is in your second house and Neptune is in the sixth house. Yeah, health and healing. Third, Spirit, just kind of like this, like pay attention to that part of your journey this month. Because of these types of dialogues, because of the promise of reintegration, building upon what happened last month. Okay, so this is about coming into this moment, if you will, where you are able to see and understand with a deep amount of compassion and develop love and compassion for all of creation. It's a big moment, Spirit says. Let me show it to you in line with the other cards. So, as I sometimes forget to say, I'm going to say it right now because Spirit's reminding me. Remember, as the reading goes forward, to take a look at the way the cards are aligned. If I had an hour and a half or 2 hours or 3 hours for every reading, we would take the deep dive, but I just don't feel that serves anyone for the readings to be that long. In fact, that is what we do in the personal readings. They go really deep, and we take a deep look at how the energies are aligned. So Spirit is just reminding me to remind you, take a look at the bottom left-hand card on the human walk. On the row of cards that indicates our human walk, look upward diagonally to the right and do the same thing with the opposite corner. Look upward diagonally to the left. It's pretty amazing what you're going to see as the energy pattern flows through the reading. And then always take a look at the center vertical row and the center horizontal row. That's sort of the core of the reading in a way. So, as you're going through this reintegration, bringing yourself into the realm of the sacred bard, the rememberer of sacred lore, whose job it is to transmit that into wisdom and vibration and poetry, if you will, so that souls can access that information. And in these days, as the shift and change happens and we come into eclipse season again, and all the pull of the moon, there's a lot of vibratory energy flowing through your being. And I know that you will understand, because in a sense, if you think about a Libra, we're talking about the ability to balance. And look at the outcome card on the far right. That's Libra. That's about balance. That is all about coming to a place where you can stand in the winds of change. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. But the spirit wants to chatter on a little bit about the renewer of devotion and the ability, because you are being reintegrated and while you are coming into this new place, this new life for yourself, it's going to send you through the beautiful cauldron of rebirth. It's astounding, the flow of your journey since the beginning of the year, Libra. If you haven't seen these readings that have come out, what I recommend to people is, if you don't have time or patience or whatever, go to the beginning of the year and just, click on the last 10 minutes of the reading and hear the wrap up, just so you have some idea. And look at the cards and how they shift month to month, and you'll understand this journey that you've been on. And the coming into this moment, the cauldron of rebirth. It's an astounding moment. And the purpose of it is to deepen your compassion for the entire universe by bringing you into a better understanding of the pattern of life and experience and soul journeying. And so, the question, there's always a soul question associated with these cards. The question is, where in your life is transformation imminent? What is the place into which you are transforming? And then, of course, no surprise to me whatsoever, look at the very next card. Libra. Wow. Okay, there's the all-seeing eye. Energy coming in from the universe. Here we see a full cycle of the moon, the new moon and the full moon. So we just came through a full moon. Now we're cycling towards the new moon. Pay attention to the cycles of the moon. It brings to you a special form of energy. You will feel the vibration because right in the center of your being, you are a vibratory vessel, Spirit says. Okay. This card is another prophecy. And again, do you see the blue garment? An augury of knowledge. That is the beautiful Leophale stone of destiny. Again, we see feminine patterned energy having been transformed in a very mystical journey, touching the wisdom stone and being able to transmit that which comes in and shine it on its light, Spirit says, onto the earth. This is about coming through not just a destiny and a prophecy. Look at the way it's aligned while I talk to you about the card for a second. So it's about knowledge, of course. And, at the center of the reading, we have the rememberer of lore, sacred knowledge, if you will, and the process of reintegration into which you are evolving. Beautiful. The beautiful augury of knowledge is all about coming into a form of self-knowing and self-activation. So it's a very active process in which you are involved. This is not something that is happening to you. These are efforts that you are taking on your own. You will feel it in a very intense way. So this beautiful augury of knowledge, we see this goddess. She is touching the Leophale, this stone that came from the other world in order to be a place of sacred transition. It's the place where kings were crowned. It's called the Stone of Destiny. And there you are touching the Stone of Destiny, able to impart this beautiful wisdom that we see in the Rememberer of Lore through a lineage, and be able to come into alignment, if you will, with the sacred lineage of your spiritual kindred, those who are accompanying you on your soul quest, on your journey. And, the soul question has to do with, What are you being called upon to utilize from your innate spiritual treasure trove of gifts? That is a profoundly beautiful walk for the human realm this month. Given the fact that Uranus has stationed in an earth sign, I am not surprised to see this kind of an important journey. I talked a lot about it with all the other readings that came out early, and I know you folks have been waiting. Thank you so much for your patience. And I've been just wondering, what is Spirit going to have to say to you about the month of May? Pardon me, June. And there it is. Very profound movement and shift and change of reintegration in a very mystical way. Here in your human walk, your soul journey becomes revealed. And if you look at the top line of cards just for a moment, take a look at how the events that are unfolding on your human walk are reflected in the top row of cards, the soul journey. Pretty amazing to me. Again, we see the Queen of Skill. Another notation, your soul is still in this transformational rediscovery, reintegration process. And Spirit's asking me to have you look at the center vertical column. On the human realm, we see this beautiful cauldron, the renewer of devotion and compassion. And that energy rises through the central core of your being because you have evolved, you have become reintegrated as the rememberer of sacred lore. And the soul journey, the spirit realm, is about, again, emerging and evolving into the sacred warrior of art, the art of doing battle with the heart chakra. And that's exactly what I was talking about last month. What would your heart command you to do? So let's talk about the bridge card. Spirit says that was just a little commercial. Spirit wanted me to talk about that. Okay, there's the bridge card. Again, standing on the sacred territory, the sacred ground of the ancients. Beautiful male patterned ancient energy and knowledge. A fertile moment because we see this beautiful young woman standing here. Hands outstretched, receiving and transmitting sacred knowledge, a new foundation, a lot of purity deep out in the mystical realm. Gorgeous. Taking your journey, your prophecy, through the augury of knowledge, forward and tying your spirit journey to that which unfolds on the earth. Here's the first card in the spirit realm. We saw this last month. I don't even need to speak about it very much, right? So there we have this beautiful Queen of Skill again, holding this baby in the swaddled blue blanket of transformation. You are being, okay, Spirit's talking about confirmation. Your being is confirmed. Your journey is confirmed. As you step forward and the energy shifts, you see this now very deeply on the spirit realm. And last month in May, it was what you in your human life were working on. There it is in the very center of the reading. And in June, we see it as the first card in the spirit realm. It's gorgeous. And standing next to that, the warrior of art, who, oops, sorry, wrong toggle. Sorry about that. The warrior of art emerges from the passage tomb at Newgrange. If you're new to this channel and you don't know what Newgrange is, please go to the internet and look it up. There are videos on my channel from last October about the sacred passage tombs and the journey that I had there as my own sacred spiritual quest in order to develop myself and have my own journey. So there you are. The warrior of art has no shoes. The warrior of art needs no weapons. The warrior of art utilizes sacred energy and sacred knowledge and actually interacts with the world with love energy from the heart chakra. That's the skill set of the warrior of art. And it sits right in the beautiful center vertical column. So the last card on the spirit realm is the courtship of skill. Fantastic. Interesting. Okay, Spirit's talking to me about this card. Okay. Dialogue of art, courtship of skill. They are directly related, Spirit says. Let me toggle back so you can see the cards together in the spread. When we see the dialogue of art on the human walk and the energy of that rising, if you will, through the rememberer of lore, your vibratory instrument at work in the center of your being, and the destination of that energy is the beautiful courtship of skill, we know that a profound transition has taken place. That's the notion of this reading that Spirit wanted to talk to you about, having to do with the reintegration of yourself, your human walk and your spirit walk. I think becoming more known to each other and you becoming more aware and able to walk in that energy. So, beautiful energy of the sun. Uranus has stationed here in an earth sign, Taurus, leading us all forward, all signs. The lion-hearted energy, the pure energy of the love of compassion. Okay, there's one more thing Spirit's talking about. The love of compassion is not about a romantic relationship. That's not what these, so just so you know, my spirit guides don't want to talk about that through these cards. If you want to talk about that in your own personal life through a reading, I'm happy to do it. But there's a very important notions about the purpose of the yin and yang and the indications of the different types of energy. So that's what we're talking about in a general sense. All right. A new courtship with all beings, with the knowledge that you've developed. Because Uranus has stationed here in Taurus until 2026, I think. And I talked a lot in all the other readings about the significance of the royal wedding that happened, I think, just a few days after. One of my friends said to me, "Oh, you said it all wrong." To me, it's about the symbolic nature of events that happen here on Earth. I don't care so much about exactly the dates. They do have a meaning. And if you looked at any of that stuff, it took me a while because I don't follow the royals and all that stuff. But I started getting a lot of messages. And it has deep meaning for me about this notion that Spirit's been talking with me about for a long time, having to do with the return of the goddess, the sacred feminine energy, and the reintegration of the sacred male. And that's what this reading's about, in a sense. Spirit speaking with you about those topics. So we saw this incredible young woman who had to decide where she was going to put her devotion, what her life path was going to be. And she arrived at that church of her own power, fully vested in herself. The power of the sacred feminine. She chose to arrive at the church alone and walk up the steps into her destiny, taking up her own power, and was met, I think I finally watched a little clip, was met by the future king of England to escort her to the altar. And the ceremony integrated very much her own history and her own cultural significance. She's an American, she's a commoner, she's divorced, all the things that used to be taboo. And she is well vested in her own power as a woman. Very accomplished in her own right. Amazing that would be something that would happen in that place of so many hundreds of years of history and tradition and very sort of staid and all the things that used to be taboo. And it is the transformation that took place that allowed this to happen. And just in the light of Uranus stationing in an earth sign. And for me, as a reader and as a channeler, that was a profound moment. And I believe it is a signification of things, the way things are changing. And the sermon, she brought her own preacher, I think, to give one of, I think there were two sermons. She brought a preacher from Chicago, um, and his sermon was all about the fire of love energy in the moment of Uranus stationing. It blew my mind. I was so grateful to see it. So spirits chattering, as you can tell, about that. All right, that's what this is about, right? The movement of the purity of the energy of light and love energy, the fire of love energy, right? Having come through the cauldron, in order to be able to devote yourself and have compassion for all beings, you now, whoops, it's always backwards for me, so it takes me a minute. So there you stand, right? And like that young couple, they have joined their energy together. One is bringing transformation, one is bringing new growth. It's very significant. I could chat around for quite a while about that, but I'm going to snip it off there. They both have a chalice at their back. Things are yet to be discovered. They look a little furtive, as if they know, my gosh, something profound is happening. We really don't know all of what is meant to unfold. But we're going to go forward. Our energies join together and a new courtship, new skills, standing on a new shore. Male and female energy patterns bonded together in the moment that Uranus stationed. And that's what Spirit's been talking to me about. If you've been listening to me talk, it's been all about this. So here we are. Very exciting. And the fact that there is a Jupiter-Neptune trine. There's a lot going on with Chiron. Mars is going retrograde for several months. This is a profound moment when things are going to come, Spirit saying, to fruition. These notions that Spirit's been talking about, at least through me, for quite a while. So I was gratified to see this. And of course, the outcome card, another beautiful major arcana card, the Sacred Balancer. There's Libra. Okay, that in the traditional tarot, that'd be the Judgment card. Look at that. Beautiful. Do you see this being has been split down the middle and resewn? Reintegration. Driving the message all the way home, Spirit says. Having the ability, the balance, and the desire, the healing that has come to allow you to stand in the beautiful sacred realm, standing in and reveling in the winds and the energies of change. It's incredibly gorgeous. I really love that for you. So, I'm going to wrap the reading up. I'm just going to tell you a little bit, in case you haven't seen the other videos and you don't really know what's going on here, I'm just going to talk about that a little bit. So for all of those who want to stay for a few more minutes, I'm going to chat around a little bit about Moonrise Cottage. But thank you everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to comment. Please like and please share the videos and please subscribe. All those things help my channel, as you know. And I'll look forward to hearing from you about your journey in the month of June. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so Moonrise Cottage. The Uranus energy here has really been intense. I've been going through a transformation, and if you haven't seen the little video I published about cutting trees down, there long before Moonrise Cottage came into being. I was going through a transition, and I was looking for a place to build a house, and I was going through a divorce. My husband and I had purchased 150 acres of land, and so we thought, well, okay, one easy way to do this is we'll just split off a piece, and they're connected to each other. We had a child. We wanted to stay connected. And in fact, you can walk to each other's homes through the woods. It's kind of fun, and it was great for our daughter when she was little. So now things have moved forward. I used to come here, and it was just woods, and just walk up the hill and sit and meditate and spend time here. And there was something that was drawing me very deeply here. So there were, 10 or 15 trees here that were probably 200 years old. Big, big grandmother trees. Okay. Um, and I used to just talk to them and spend time. I would stay overnight. I did some vision quests here. I felt that there was an enormous amount of energy in this place. And I began to feel the pull of wanting to develop a sacred space. And so the rest is history. Moonrise Cottage arose, and I've been off the grid living with solar panels. And it's been challenging a little bit because the trees, those beautiful sacred trees, are standing blocking the sun that needs to come in from the south. And so my solar guy's been begging me to cut them down for many years, and I've just said, no, I'm not going to cut those trees down. They're my family. They're the reason that I'm here. And, the hawks come and sit in the treetops and look over the house, and the crows come and I talk to them. I love these tree creatures. I got to cut them down. So I had to go through the pain and agony and the heartbreak of being the one who had to make the decision. It was a horrible choice. It's part of what I've been going through since April. And I think it's one of the lessons, I guess, of what it is to go through shocking change when Uranus comes and stations in an Earth sign, affecting all of us on Earth, helping Pluto that is stationed in Capricorn. So now, okay, Spirit's saying, both horns forward. There is some profound shift and change, as most of you know. A lot is happening here on the Earth that's connected to what is meant to happen from the sacred realm, right? Our soul journey, which is why I'm here doing this. It was time for me to speak rather than just be a little hermit. So the next phase of that development for me has to do with making it possible for other people to come and stay here for a soul journey. And one of the things that had to happen is I had to be able to generate more electricity. And the only way to do that on the site that I'm on is to cut the trees down. After 20 some years, I just vowed that I would never. So I've been grieving, I've been rejoicing. There's been an enormous amount of commotion and noise, if you can imagine, here. The trees are going to be milled. They are going to be used to build the structure that's going to hold the new solar array and probably be used maybe for some flooring in my house, which I've been waiting 20 years to finish. So I'm just wishing you well in your own journey. And there was a moment of pause, I think I said, that had to happen. Finally, I just sort of had to stop and let the energy settle down before the readings could come out because there was just so much intensity. So, Libra, thank you so much for the soul journey that you're on and for being with the rest of us that are here, just souls trying to make it, doing our own journey with the types of intensity, the energy that comes in, for us to be able to manage that and walk within it for our own personal journey. And there's the outcome for you. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in July. Please let me know what's going on for you. I always love reading your messages on the thread. Let's see, the website is below the video in the description box. You can just click on that. And I'm playing around with putting some cards on the videos now. There should be something popping up on the video that you can click on, take you to the website. Okay. Thanks a lot, everyone. I'll see you next month.